Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to have you back. Welcome to the show. We dollar cost average $1,000 every day into the crypto markets. ETH so far. We might get into other things. Let's see how we feel. Today, I'm going to show you two things that I think may indicate a bottom. One's really speculative. The other one's sort of really speculative. They're both kind of speculative, but before any of that, let me talk about kombucha. I know this channel is not about kombucha, but let me tell you about kombucha. This is a fine kombucha. What's interesting about it is I read the label and it says it has 0.5% alcohol. So if I drink a couple of these, I'll be a little tipsy. That's exciting. That's great. Let me show you a completely trash kombucha, which is this one. Absolutely trash. Don't ever buy it if you can. I hope it's in focus. Don't ever buy it. It's no good. It's no good. But let's get right into it. So, theory number one, it's to do with volume. Now, if you look at the big downs, now we'll start here. You see this big volume candle here. If you look here in March 2020, you see this giant volume candle. And if we go back to November 2018, we see this giant volume candle. Now, these negative volume, these red volume candles could be indicators of a bottom, right? Now, of course, this is, we're heading down in that direction, and there's still a lead up. It's not like, the bottom was a few days after, right? So it was, this was November 20th, and then it's like around December 15th, 17th, so around December 20th is when we hit the next bottom. So maybe a month later, right? And here we have the March 20th bottom. This is the COVID bottom. March 16th, 2020 bottom. And that literally was the bottom. That was it. And it's this huge wick of volume. And here, this was our summer break period. And this didn't really account for it, right? This was the 21st of May, and we went on for some time. We went until, looks like, July 23rd before we finally recovered. But we didn't have a big volume streak. This is one theory, right? This is one indicator that you may want to watch. Like, there's no volume here for what's been happening so far. Happy face. For what's been happening so far, there is no volume, right? And this might be an indicator that we are, we're not there yet, right? We're nearing the bottom, but we're not at the bottom because we're making moves, but we're not making these big spikes down. Now, we did have a big spike here, but there's no volume, right? This was, what was this? This was December 8th, 2021. Big spike, 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that, and there wasn't anything there, right? It wasn't significant. So this is one theory, but this is something you definitely want to watch, right? When we get that huge volume, that large amount of volume, that's an indicator. And this is a spike, right? But then it's more than what you had in the previous days, but it's nothing like one of these or one of these. Look at this thing; it's enormous, enormous. We had a few others around here as well, but like this is something I'm definitely watching for. Now, when I'm looking for the bottom, I'm looking for a giant spike in volume to indicate that okay, we're nearing the end. This is theory number one. Let me show you theory number two. This is the death cross right here, right? We had the death cross, and huzzah, we all freaked out. Well, I freaked out. Let me put it this way. I definitely freaked out. So if we do a measurement, let's do a quick measurement. This is the top here, right? This is April 14th, 21. We hit this magical top. And if we go, oh, well, hold on, let me redo this. Measurement from the top here, all right? And if we take this measurement all the way to the death cross, which happened on the 19th of June, that is 66 days. 66 days. There we go. 66 days. Now, if we do a similar measurement, so 66 days from there to there, great. And if we do a similar measurement here, we go from the top. Let's say this is the top right there. That was the top. That was the top here was November 9th, 2021, and we go to our death cross, which was just a few days ago on the 14th of January. That is 65 days. 65 days. Very interesting. This is very interesting. This is a very interesting correlation. You want to call? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna call it a correlation. This is a very interesting little thing here. 66 days for the previous top to death cross. 65 days from this top to the death cross. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Right, this was not a death cross. This was the opposite of a death cross. This is what we're looking for. That being said, from the death cross, right here it is, to the bottom was 30 days, right? So if we did the same thing here, went from the death cross 30 days forward, we're looking at around February 15th, 13th, 14th, 15th, something like that. So about a month out. But let's do one more. And this is so... we are for sure speculating. We are doing wild amounts of speculation here, right? But let's just check this out. So let's zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in. There we go. Okay. Wild amount of speculation, but let's see. So here we are on the 19th of June 2021, the day of the death cross, the previous death cross. And if we measure from there down to the actual bottom we hit 30 days later, 31 days later, it was 19.5%. Right? Well, you know what? Okay, hold on. Let me redo this, because let me not go from the top, but let me go from the bottom to bottom. So that was 31 days, 15.71%. That was the down. So if we did the same thing here, and I know we are massively speculating, but let's go with it. Let's say 31 days, right? And let's say 15.7%. Let's just say, let's keep it rough. We come down to $35,000 sometime in mid-February, right? So February 14th, 15th, 16th, 13th, 14th, 15th, something like that. This is massive amounts of speculation, and if this is right, my mind will be blown. But I doubt, of course. Now so that's 35,100. Let's just round it, okay? 35,100. What do we have? What's going on around 35,100? Let's see. All right, 35,100. There we go. Let's see if we can get some here. 35,100. Let's see. We got anything? I don't know. This is, well, maybe we have some resistance there, which can turn into support. There's some support there that may have turned into resistance. Right, support turns into resistance, resistance turns into support. So very possible that we could touch that. Now, if we took this even further, what do we have? Doesn't look like too much, right? Doesn't look like that's too interesting. But I don't know. Not sure. Like, let's put a happy face here. Let's put the happy face. Let's put our, let's aim it for here we go, the 15th of December of February, and let's make this a little. This guy's got a little smaller, and this is what we think. This is where we think we're gonna be on the 14th, 15th, 16th, something around those, on those days, something on there. And let's see if we hit it. It'd be interesting if we did. Right, and this would be considered the bottom, and I would expect to see a giant spike of volume, a massive spike of volume like this, just going into the stratosphere. Like an enormous spike. Look at that. This is comparatively. Like, this is the spike here on December 5th, and then this is the spike on 19th of May. So we're looking for something like this. Is a December 5th spike. It's tiny. It's like third the size of this, and this is what we'd want to see here. So I'm going to leave this here, and let's change the color to red. And we're going to leave this here, and we're going to monitor for a month as we continue to DCA and see if we actually hit it. It'd be very interesting if we hit it. I'd be blown away. So so we're looking to hit the spot, and we're looking for massive spikes of volume. If we see massive spikes of volume before, it's also an indicator that things are hitting the fan, and it's probably time to DCA a little bit heavier than we are right now. But yes, and I just realized this line is sloppy. It's not actually completely flat, but I don't think it matters. I'm going to remove it. Well, you know what? I'm not going to remove it because I'm going to keep it here. I think it's going to be useful for us, but let me fix it. I don't have the auto adjust here on. just yet. I'll fix it later. So these are the two theories. So one of these are going to hit. We're not sure. Let's see. Let's keep an eye open for this. Massive speculation. The volume seems to make a little bit more sense, but even that speculation, like you'd expect to see giant volume here, wouldn't you? Right, that would be the spot where there's giant volume, and this would be the end of it, and then you climb up. But that's obviously not the case. It's at the start there was giant volume, and then months later it kicked up. So that invalidates that a little bit. You could hold true a little bit more over here in this could hold a little. This is March 2020, right? Giant spike down, massive amounts of volume, and we really did come back up. Right, and that might hold true. And then if you go back to 2018, where is this? November 2018, big spike. But there again, right, we had a huge spike, but we went down further. Like if you had bought this day, what is this day? I believe it to be. If you had bought this day, it wouldn't have been enough, right? You would have still had to go down further. Like, so that's the next day. You would have still had to go down further. Like, in fact, if you had bought that day, it would have still sucked a lot because you would have had to go down quite a bit more. You would have purchased, even if you purchased at the bottom, it would have been 4,075. You ended up bottoming out at 3,100, which is still a whole bunch. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. Not entirely convinced, but it makes sense to have a huge. I mean, it does because we're not seeing it. Was there a huge amount of volume in there? Yes, there actually was. So this is an inconsistent metric, right? Positive volume here. And on this uptrend over here, we don't see the volume, right? Even on our recovery here in July 21, we didn't see a massive amount of volume. It's quite shallow. It's quite quiet. It's larger than the previous bit. That's true, but it's not a huge spike. So maybe we're looking for a spike that's larger than what we have previously. I'm not sure. Let's monitor and see what's happening. Let's quickly check our shrimpy. We should be at 7,000 something now. Yeah, there we go. We're at 7,000 something. Hope this thing doesn't make me log back in. Shrimpy. It's just such a ridiculous name. Why did they call it Shrimpy? I don't get it. Shrimpy? I want to email the CEO and find out why you called it Shrimpy. You like shrimp a lot? I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm not even a fan of shrimp. 7,500. We're down about $500 because the market has been, capitulating a little bit. But there's the steps. We're going. We have our 7th transaction today. I'm leaving the link to this in the description below. Please take a look. And our market is holding together, but we're going down. We're below 42. We're below 32. And my buy is below 2,000. I'd love to get like a $2,000 Ethereum. That'd be lovely. I remember 1,700. I didn't click in at the time. I should have. But here's some mildly whack news just to cover some stuff on the high end. Singapore, which has really been a haven for crypto. People have loved Singapore for how forward crypto is now banned ads on crypto. And I think this is a step in the direction of them pulling. They don't want too much of. It's a direct attack on the central banks. Right? If we all adopt crypto and we stop using fiat, it's a direct hit on the banks. The banks are going to be tripping, right? It's not great. It's not a good thing for the banks. I'll tell you that. Right? It's not good. It's not a good thing for the central bank and the government. They lose control of monetary policy, which is massive. It's really, really important. Who controls it? It's somebody else. It's decentralized. And so I can see these central banks and these banks starting to regulate this. And so if you bring down ads, this is really the first step. Less people are buying crypto and all these kind of things. And I think in this article they talk about how they've been clamping down on ATMs, right? And that's not good. I know Coinbase, one of these like large Coin Club, a fintech startup based in the city, named Singapore the most crypto-friendly country in the world in December. Good legislative environment. Yes, well, not so much anymore, right? It's much cloudier now. And this is unfortunate, but this is like, every one of these governments are nervous, obviously, right? Right. Yeah. You can't trust these guys. The- Controlling the currency is definitely controlling the population, right? You want to have control, and like what someone told me this. What government has ever been down with losing power, right? Diminishing its power? None ever. I've never seen it, right? No government ever wants to willingly give away power. They want to gain. They want to accrue power. I think Elon Musk says that government is the only force that has a monopoly on violence, right? Absurd. And I'm not saying I want to dethrone the government. I just think the government needs to take a step back. Right? Let things happen as they will. And this is associated, and I'm totally going on a tangent here, but wildfires are an indicator that the government doesn't know what it's doing. I know this sounds so funny, but also, and I'm a man of science. We've talked about this before, but maybe even science, right? The reason I say this is wildfires are a natural process. But in the early 1900s, late 1800s, people intentionally stopped wildfires from happening, and they built up this large amount of combustible material on the ground. And this was a government sanctioned, and some scientists, lobbied the government that we must stop these wildfires. And they did. And now every summer we're dealing with these wild, absolutely crazy wildfires that are completely unmanageable. It's because of the policy we had early on. It's a little too much. And I think they need to let natural processes happen and not intervene so much, because all the intervention causes frustration. And yeah, it's true. And I'm not saying like, and the natural discussion may go towards masks and COVID restrictions. I don't know about that. It's a public health concern, and maybe now it's a little overborne, seeing that the latest version of COVID isn't that bad. But I don't know. I really don't want to wade into that topic. I don't have amalgamized thoughts on it, but my thoughts on this: I think governments should stay away. They're trying to hold things together here by clamping down on crypto, but they're printing too much capital, and it's going to cause problems. We know this, and that's for another discussion, another video on what happens when you print too much money. A Venezuela, right? A Zimbabwe. But anyways, next time. This is frightening news. Crypto.com confirms hundreds of accounts were hacked. Hedges on other details. So, nerve-wracking, right? Hacks are nerve-wracking, because you have limit orders, and like I have orders for like 30K Bitcoin and 20K Bitcoin, and I don't know if these things will actually trigger, but I have these orders and they're sitting on an exchange, and if these accounts can't, these exchanges can't hold their shit together, it's nerve-wracking, right? Makes me a little bit nervous. There was about $15 million worth of ETH stolen, and as soon as it was stolen, it was sent to Tornado. And what Tornado does is here it is, a fully decentralized protocol for private transactions on Ethereum. So you send it to Tornado, it's a mixing bowl, and you send it off, and nobody knows where it came from. All right, and this is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is making waves. Like I've been pretty excited with what they're doing. That's Matt Damon talking about crypto, right? And this is great advertising. Fortune favors the brave. Yes, right. Buy crypto, and they've been like doing wild things. Like what is it? Taking over, like naming, like these stadiums and like these really high profile. I think they're doing something in Abu Dhabi with the soccer tournament that's happening out there, the World Soccer. It's wild. So they're doing great, but they're obviously collecting a lot of attention, and hacks are nerve-wracking. Definitely nerve-wracking. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to say except nerve-wracking. And we've seen some epic hacks in the past, but ideally we can handle the stuff. And I think it really comes down to the user to keep most of their funds on a cold wallet. But then you can imagine, like if we see a giant spike of volume, and that giant spike is an indicator that the market has bottomed, you don't have very much time to go and purchase your thing, right? It's like you just have to go really quick, which is why I have DCA. So I keep it on my cold wallet and I DCA every day. I move it into, I purchase on Binance and then I send it off. But like it's pretty ridiculous. Like you don't have very much time though. Like if you're really trying to time the market, you don't have very much time. Like here, let's go from a day to like 15 minutes. Let's see what fall. You know what? Never mind. We're not going to do this because this is going to be a little absurd. I'm not going to fiddle through this entire thing. Never mind. But you don't. It's a nerve-wracking business. Like the hacks are nerve-wracking. Like you had a day here when you really could have made moves, maybe 2 days. Yeah, already went up. I remember this day very clearly. I remember this entire thing happening. I was just like, holy crap. Anyways, this is the end for today. I hope you guys are trading well. Please trade along with me. Let's track this. This is where we want to get to. This is where I'm excited to get to. Let's get here. Or let's see if we get here at 35. Though it's invalidating some things. If we do get there, then it invalidates the idea of maintaining above this point, this red line, maintaining above it. Right? Because if we go below it, then we're invalidating going below the theory that says if we go below the bull market support, man, we're really into a bearish place, right? We're really falling apart. But let us see. Let us see. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. And if you like this stuff, comment, like, or subscribe. I'm doing it for fun, but I need your support. See you soon. Dollar cost average with me.